I had a buddy, I was like, hey, can I take your golf clubs for the weekend and clean them up? And I brought them back, and these things look brand new.
Nice,
and he was
nice.
like, holy shit, dude, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So from there,
Adam Riedel, welcome to the show.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Cheers to Samantha for connecting us. How long have you been in the industry? And our only connection, or like the main reason you're on, is because you have this product, this Club Doctor, where you can, clean and shine and bring clubs back to life. I think the first half of the episode, I want to hear about your journey and if you always had the entrepreneurial bug, and perhaps if you have or still have a day job and things like that. But to build and lay some foundation. How long have you been around golf and with that, the industry in general?
Yeah. So I started golf similar to, like you said, with Topgolf.
Oh.
It was when COVID was kind of starting off.
Okay.
Topgolf was like half price on Tuesdays.
Okay.
And I was stuck at home, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go play Topgolf and just to get out of the house.
Is there one in the city?
So I'm from Ohio. I was living in Cleveland with my parents.
Okay.
So every Tuesday I would go to Topgolf really early because it was like $15 for an hour, and I would just practice hitting
nice.
balls. Yeah. So that's when I got the golf itch. And then from there, I was like, okay, I'm starting to love this. I'm getting into this. I want to play real golf. So, but at the time I was in college, so I didn't have a lot of money, and I couldn't afford. Golf clubs are very expensive.
It's very rare for me to hear that, because usually it's something that someone was kind of born into or kind of participated in growing up as a child.
Yeah.
Kind of passed down from their parents. But did you have anyone in your life pre-college that you were exposed to golf through?
Yeah. So I had one friend in particular. We grew up together. Our moms went to high school together. So we were just great family friends.
Okay.
And I would always go on vacation with them. His name's Owen.
Okay.
And I would go on vacation with his family to Hilton Head, South Carolina.
Okay.
One of the most beautiful places in the United States, in my opinion. And it was funny. The worst part of the trip was golfing. His parents loved golf. They lived on a golf course. And me and Owen would love going to the beach. We would love playing in the sand, riding our bikes around the island, doing whatever we want. But there was always 1 or 2 days where it's like, all right, guys, you got to come golfing with us.
Oh, wow. It was a family event.
It's just hilarious looking back on it, because I was probably 12. He's 3 years younger than me, so call it 9 years old.
And did he grow up in it, right? So
yeah,
he's okay.
But he hated it too. So we
Interesting.
were being dragged onto some of the most beautiful courses in South
And not
Carolina.
being grateful for it.
and just complained, and we're like, can we leave early?
If you can kind of pinpoint a few of the aspects of why that is difficulty one of it? Like, why? Because I've seen talented kids do it, but like, why would someone not enjoy something like that?
I think for us it was slow. It was quiet. It wasn't exciting. We weren't good at it. So it was like the problem of being forced to do something you're not good at, and it would just be frustrating. And so for us, it was, this is boring. And there was so many more fun things we could have been doing at the beach, anything. And just being on the course was just dreadful and awful. And we wanted to get out of there as soon as possible.
Okay.
And it's funny now because he's still one of my best friends to date, and we love golfing now. He got really into it, and
nice.
It was cool. We grew up going to different high schools. He went to the private school in the area. I went to the public school, so we were never in school together. But I went to University of Dayton in Ohio, and when I was a junior, he came and toured the college, and sure enough, he ended up coming. So we got to spend that year where I was a senior and he was a freshman.
Nice.
We were at the same school for the first time. And so that was just a full circle moment. But with that, we got to spend a lot of time golfing in Dayton together, which was awesome.
Nice. So then after college, did you make your way over here or spend some more time in Ohio?
Yeah, so I actually moved here in January of this year.
Oh, okay.
So I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary.
Okay. How's it been?
It's been really good. It's been really good.
And why Chicago?
So
What pulled your hair?
I'll be honest with you. It was a girl pulling me here.
Okay.
I started dating this girl senior year of college.
Nice.
Really liked her. We hit it off. And as I approached graduation, I knew, you know what, I don't want to go back to Cleveland because all my family's growing up in Cleveland, went to college and stayed. And I was like, I want to try something new. I want to experience a new city, a new lifestyle.
Now's the time.
I know. And I'm young. Why not? And so we were really into each other, and I was like, you know what? She's a good enough reason to move. And worst case, which unfortunately it didn't work out, but worst case, I'm in Chicago, Illinois. Like one of the,
if anything, best case.
one of the greatest cities in the United States. And so I don't regret it by any means.
What was the, how long, or like between graduation and moving? So how much time passed?
2 weeks.
Oh, so you're 22, 23?
23.
Wow.
Yeah. So I moved here when
so
I was
much
22
life ahead of
years
you, bro.
old. I know.
Oh, that's amazing. What did you study in college?
Electrical engineering.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's like a left field thing.
I know.
Why electrical engineering?
It was my physics class in high school.
Okay.
I didn't know what I wanted to do, like most high school kids. It's like no one really knows what they want to do. And so the electrical portion of that class really interested me, and I did really well in it. And I was like, this is cool. I like knowing how this light works. I like knowing how this audio signal is getting to this recorder.
Yeah.
That really interested me. And so it wasn't like I grew up loving this. It was like, I need to figure out what I want to do. This seems fun. Engineers make good money. Why not? And so I ended up going to school for electrical engineering.
Okay. And would you say that it came a little natural to you because of your inclination towards it, or?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have a hard time in school.
Yeah.
That's
got to be a sign, right?
Yeah, I think so. It just wasn't overly challenging. Like the concepts just came to me and I understood them well. And everyone, when you say you have an engineering degree, everyone's like, oh my gosh, like that must have been so hard.
Well, in relation to your peers in that cohort, what was their experience like? Just as natural or difficult?
I think it was just as natural.
Wow.
For most.
Oh.
So what's interesting about engineering school is like after the first year, you lose anyone who it doesn't really come natural to.
Okay.
And you keep
through what courses? What were the weed out courses?
Oh, the physics courses were brutal.
Oh, okay.
The like thermodynamics, because there's just the general engineering classes, the chemistry, stuff like that. So the maths. So like the math is a big one because you got to take a lot of math to be an engineer. So the calculus 3, the differential equations, stuff like that.
That's all first year?
First and second.
Yeah, I remember I got a math minor. I was like, all that like diffie-Q, all that stuff was like probably my junior, senior year.
Yeah. But
it's high level classes.
I think that like weeds out a lot of the people. But
I can see
all
that.
the people in my class were like very intelligent.
Amazing.
And I felt dumb compared to them.
Why?
Because they were passionate about this.
Okay.
They would leave engineering class. They would leave Circuits 1 and go
do more projects.
To go home and build a robot for fun.
What did you end up doing in your free time?
I was hanging out with my friends. I'll admit I partied my fair bit in college.
Yeah, same.
It wasn't like that for me. I didn't love engineering like that. It wasn't like.
You didn't feel congruent to it. That's interesting.
No.
And did you feel like you had so much sunk cost into it that you couldn't leave and do something else?
Yeah, and I was like, it was junior year where I was really like, this is brutal, because that's when I started to go on my internships that were required by my school. And so I spent 3 or 4 months at a company that designed forklifts, and that was a brutal time.
You're like, is this what it's going to be like?
Yeah, and that I was sitting there at the desk every day and I'm like, God damn, is this my life? Like, am I going to be staring at this computer screen for the next 40 years of my life? And that's honestly what got me on this entrepreneurial path.
Well, did you ever think about trying to intersect some of your other hobbies and interests like golf into like how electrical engineering can overlap with your hobbies?
Yeah.
Was that a possibility? Did you see any overlap?
The one area where I really found overlap back to me enjoying partying in college.
Yeah.
I bought an Arduino, and
what is that?
It's like a little microcomputer that you can program.
Okay. I heard of it as a Raspberry Pi.
Similar, yes, very similar. So I bought this Arduino, and this was like the only thing I did for fun.
Okay.
Electrical
engineering.
wise.
Okay.
Yeah. I bought this chip, and I bought a bunch of LED lights, like those strip lights you see in every college house.
Okay.
And I spent a couple weeks over winter break programming this thing so that we could hook up our Bluetooth speaker and the lights would dance to the light. Music.
Oh, good for you guys.
So we had the coolest parties because every time someone came in, it was like a rave in our tiny college house.
That's awesome.
These lights going crazy. So that was honestly the one area where it intersected, and that got me really excited because I was able to intertwine creativity with this knowledge I was gaining.
With an interest as well as, because it is a sign that if something as difficult to most people like electrical engineering comes naturally to you, that's a sign. Like you've been gifted in a way, right?
Yeah.
When pre-recording, I shared some of my history with like the golf industry. I thought about like, do they put GPS chips in golf balls? Because what if you lose your golf balls? And I'm sure there's a company that does that, but like that is where I can see some like a little overlap between the engineering side and the golf side, at least.
Yeah. I think it more comes with the problem-solving abilities I gained from engineering school.
Okay.
Not so much the technical knowledge.
Yeah.
But here's what we need to accomplish. Here's what we're given. How do we get from here to here? And it's not. So I don't think I translate as much of like, this is how this circuit works. I need to do this technique.
Yeah.
It's more of like,
it doesn't have to be too literal.
Yeah. I think I really took the problem-solving abilities that came with the math classes, the circuits classes, the thermodynamics classes. Less the super technical, intricate stuff, and more the just overarching quality that most engineers have of problem-solving.
I like that. That's a good way to look at things as far as silver linings go. Because it can be a shitty feeling of just like, wow, I sunk 4 years of this, a lot of money, a lot of time. What did I get out of it besides partying? Besides lifelong friends. It's just like, no, you did get a lot of things out of it. I feel like that sometimes, but I come to the same conclusion. So you moved to Chicago 2 weeks later. Did you have a job lined up?
No.
What?
No job. So I was a junior in college when I started my business.
Oh, wow. So Club Doctor's been around for a while.
3 years.
Oh, wow. Good for you.
Thank you.
So what were some of the events that led to the seed to be planted for Club Doctor?
So I did the forklift company for 4 months. Back to school for 8 more months of learning.
Okay.
Then I had another internship. This time, dental chairs. Even more interesting. And similar feeling. I was like going to this office every day. Didn't see the daylight for 8 hours of the day. I was staring at a computer screen. And I was like, is this my life? Is this what I'm supposed to do for the next 40 years? And I just couldn't come to terms with it. And I've always had little entrepreneurial things on the side. But
like what?
I did the whole, it's so cliche, but the whole trading card thing.
Oh, okay. Like sports cards?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I did the whole eBay thing,
nice.
Buying, selling, flipping. I'm a huge
Garage sales,
Gary V guy.
Gary V.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was working at this internship, and I was really into golf. I was playing every day, and I'd bought used clubs from online.
Okay.
And they were old, and they were beat up, rusty, didn't look good. At the same time, I was really starting to pick up my reading on different books about business, e-commerce, stuff like that.
Do any stand out?
Yeah. 12 Months to a Million.
By who?
Ryan Daniel Moran.
Oh, okay. Younger guy.
That book changed my life.
Okay.
Because as I was reading it, he was like, think about problems in your life or products you wish you had that just don't exist on the market.
Yeah.
And so reading this, playing golf, my golf clubs are dirty. I want to restore them. Google search, golf club cleaning company, golf club care. 0 results.
Really?
Nothing on Amazon, nothing at all.
Really?
And so, it hit me. And the idea was like, this might be it. And I kept reading next 2 weeks. And like, as I finished the book, like I just kept applying this idea.
That's amazing.
To every lesson it was trying to teach.
Okay.
And so then sure enough, that was like the seed for it.
Okay.
And from there, I grew it.
Wow. So, at this point, I love it because you're so analytical, but was there any part of you that was like, where do I even begin? Like you've identified the problem and there could quite possibly be a demand. Where does one begin?
Yeah. So I had that. That was my thoughts. Where do I start? I don't have any money. I mean, I had maybe like a couple $1,000s saved from working my internship. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I want to start this in the lowest risk way possible. The way that I don't have to spend my entire account and can kind of like prove it's going to work. Mm-hmm. So I did something that probably isn't totally legal.
Most of us probably start there.
Yeah. So I first started coming up with names, labels.
Okay.
I had a whole bunch of weird names, like
which ones were close but didn't make the cut?
Club Clean.
Okay.
There was ones like Nice Club. It was crazy.
Now, when you come up with the names, are you trying to associate a logo with it as well?
Yeah. So I was working on logos at the time, and I don't know how I came up with what I did because I love my most people hate their logo 3 years in.
Okay.
I still like love my logo and the name. But yeah, so I started there.
Okay.
Ordered bottles, 8-ounce bottles. I remember just a huge box of bottles showing up, and my roommate was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, big box of bottles. And so then what I did that was probably not great, I just ordered this generic car wheel polish from Amazon, these big tubs of it. And I took 100 bottles, filled it with this stuff that wasn't my product, slapped a label on it, and then...
For photos? Like, what were you trying to do with it?
I was trying to put it on Amazon to see if people would be interested in it.
Yeah.
So I did that. I sent the shipment to Amazon so that they could do Prime with it.
Fulfillment.
Sure enough, week 1, refresh the app, 1 sale.
Wait. But like, did the product work? Like you tried it on clubs and like, did it work?
It was okay. It was
great. Good enough.
It wasn't great, but I just wanted to see if like the idea of a golf club polish would work.
I've never heard anyone do that.
Yeah.
Did you get any feedback from it?
Oh yeah. So those first 100 bottles eventually sold, and my reviews were terrible.
Sure.
2-3 stars. Not good.
Okay.
But I knew I knew people were interested in it. I knew people were searching this now and buying this product.
Yeah.
So I was like, now that I have that conviction, I can really work on like developing a great product to sell it. Yes. Now that amazing. I know that people are interested in it and it'll sell, I can actually put a significant amount of money into this and start selling it. And so,
wow, you took simply having a conversation with your peers. I'm like, hey guys, do you think a golf club cleaning product would sell? And then you'd get some opinions and feedback. But you took it to like the next level and you turned the dial up and you're like, no, it actually did sell.
Yeah. And I think that's honestly at the root of it is what separates entrepreneurs from the general population.
Of just kind of daydreaming about it?
Yeah.
At this point, were you having conversations with mentors or parents or peers about how you felt about electrical engineering as well as the start of your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, I think my parents were aware I wasn't super passionate about engineering.
And what do they do?
What do they do?
Mm-hmm.
My dad is a project manager for a hospital.
Okay.
And my mom, she's like in research at a college.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, kind of different.
Yeah.
But
so,
were they understanding?
yeah, I mean,
Trying to be helpful?
they don't really know like where to help.
Okay, that's tough.
Yeah.
It's like
I
wanting
mean,
to, but did you get a sense that they wanted to?
I don't know.
Oh, interesting.
They've always supported me. They're the most supportive parents.
Yeah.
But I think their biggest concern was, is this going to distract you from getting your engineering degree? They were like, Adam, we're giving you a lot of money to go get this degree. You're going to get this goddamn degree. So they weren't like shutting it down.
Okay.
But they were definitely
Wary.
like, trying to make sure my priorities were in the right place.
Okay. Sure.
But I'd done well to date, and I had lined up internships, and that internship was likely leading into a job offer, so I don't think they were too concerned. But
You had a safety net.
yeah, which
They probably didn't look at it. They were like, that's his day job.
yeah.
So you had proof of concept.
Yeah.
How do we improve, and then how do we start scaling?
Yeah. So once I had proof of concept, I was like, I need to make the product actually work now, which is funny. It's like kind of backwards.
It's a good way to think about it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as looking at ingredients that work?
Yeah. So I don't know chemistry like that. So I was immediately like, I need to find someone who knows what they're doing here. So it honestly started with cold outreach. I just Google searched chemical manufacturers. First link, call. Hey, I have this idea. I want to make a golf club polish. Can you help me? They're like, yeah, do you have 150 grand for a first order? No. Okay, sorry, no, bye. Keeping that process going until finally I had 2 or 3 people who were like, yeah, that's interesting. Let us formulate some samples for you and send them over and see what you think.
Wait, and where are you finding these companies?
Just Google search.
What would you search?
I would search like chemical manufacturers,
okay.
or like private label car polish.
Okay.
But then on the phone, I would be like, it's not for cars though, it's for golf clubs. And they would be like, what? Really? And I'm like,
it hasn't been done.
I'm like, I've kind of got a proof of concept here. Like, maybe give me a shot.
Yeah.
And all you need is a couple yeses. From there, started to get samples from these companies. Eventually found one that I really liked. And then we did several iterations.
Nice.
To improve it, make it work super well. I had some friends test it. I remember I had a buddy. I was like, hey, can I take your golf clubs for the weekend and clean them up? And I brought them back, and these things look brand new.
Nice,
and he was
nice.
like, holy shit, dude, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So from there,
what besides the actual cleaning aspect, what were some other metrics that you were measuring? Maybe like odor or sheen or any residue, like things like that led to the next iteration.
it was more just performance of like how shiny the club was looking.
Okay.
And I didn't want any residue.
Yeah.
And then also I needed to be careful that it wasn't going to damage the club.
Yeah.
So I was testing all sorts of clubs because some clubs have paint on them and you need to be careful with that.
Oh.
Some clubs are made out of this metal versus this metal.
Yeah, yeah.
But what was cool is I found a manufacturer that I could communicate these
That's
ideas
amazing.
with. And they were like so helpful.
How many no's before the yes?
20, 30.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what these entrepreneurial self-help books like helped you realize that you're gonna get plenty of no's before you get that yes?
Yeah.
And it still stings, right?
I don't think you need to read to know that. That's just life.
It is life.
That's life. That's girls. That's business. That's jobs.
Were any of these manufacturers international?
No.
Like, was that a criteria for you, or you didn't care?
No, it was just the intimidation of like, I don't know. It was just intimidating thinking,
because it is.
I need to solve this communication barrier.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so much more complicated to bring
because there's a lot of people that flip like Alibaba stuff on Amazon, right? And, or make private label stuff through Alibaba stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's so common these days that I don't know if communication will be exactly a barrier. It's just a time difference if you're trying to hop on a phone call. But I was just interested in that. But at the end of the day, so it's just like the cleaning factor and not stripping away any paint and things
just
like
making
that.
sure it's really safe.
How many
for
iterations?
clubs. I think we did like 5.
That's so cool. I'm sure that felt so collaborative.
Yeah.
When someone was willing to buy into your vision.
Yeah. It was incredibly exciting waiting for the package every day of like the next step and getting to test it.
Did you eventually run out of clubs to clean?
Yeah, dude, I was cleaning everyone's clubs. Everyone, all my friends, any of my friends, I've cleaned their clubs.
So to this date, what do you think is your strongest marketing tool?
Short form content through Instagram and TikTok.
Well, how strong is word of mouth in comparison to that?
Okay, I see what you mean. Word of mouth has been really good.
Nice.
Because I am not afraid to say that I was incredibly lucky in the beginning of this. Once my product got in the hands of people, it just snowballed.
And there's something about letting them, you'll see this on like the quick like 2 a.m. kind of TV ads, but like letting the consumer try it out for themselves. You're not the one polishing. They're the one polishing their own clubs, seeing that they can do it for themselves. All they need is this product.
Yeah. And it's just so cool seeing reviews and getting messages.
Yeah.
And now it's like I have people make TikTok videos of, I don't even know these people. And they're like, today I'm going to clean my clubs with Club Doctor. It's like, what? This is my product. How did this happen? I didn't pay this person to do this.
The hardest thing about making a product like that, I would have thought, is the chemical aspect.
Yeah.
But that seemed to come easier than I would have originally thought.
Yeah, I mean, there's always people out there. If there's something you don't know how to do, there's someone in this world that does,
right?
And is willing to help you. And
so it's knowing where to look and asking the right questions.
And it's just consistency and drive.
Yeah.
It's not even like knowing where to look. It's like, I don't know where to look, so I'm going to look everywhere until I find where the right place is. And it's just that's the bottleneck for so many people is
giving up,
not even getting started. Every Christmas I get pitched a new idea from my uncle or my aunt. Hey, have you thought of this? I have this idea. Or
go do it.
Yeah. It's like, I can't get you to take that first step.
Interesting. So after the final iteration, what did you think about next? Like ancillary products like towels or packaging? Like what did you work on next?
So after the product was ready, the manufacturer's basically like, okay, you need to commit. It was like $4,000 or $5,000.
That's not bad compared to the 150.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But that drained my bank account.
Oh,
like
at that
I was
age,
broke. Yeah. And I remember sitting there like, gosh, do I do this? Do I go all in? And then it was just like, I think I was like 20. Like, dude, why not? Like, I'll be okay. It's okay. Like, I can always get a job.
You didn't want to ask for help?
No.
Okay.
I just want to do it myself.
Sure.
So I paid the invoice, and I think it bought me like 1,000 units at first.
Wow. And that was their minimum.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so these units get shipped to Amazon. I started everything on Amazon.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's convenient because and then it's like, what about setting up patents, LLCs, bank accounts, as well as like physical locations, shipping, warehouse? I feel like Amazon solves a lot of that.
Yeah, okay. Amazon solves a lot of those problems. You pay the price, but
sure.
If you're starting out, it's a great place to start.
Okay, I hear the same thing with like publishing books. They create their own ISBNs.
Interesting.
So if you can, it's easier than ever to self-publish if that's a route you wanted to go.
That's so cool. It's definitely a goal of mine in the future.
So was this like the next level proof of concept on another scale?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now I had 1,000 units here I had to sell. I also needed people to try this product and see if it worked for them.
Okay.
I was confident in it, but you never know. And the hardest problem I still deal with today is people will have a dent in their driver and my product doesn't bring the dent out because it's a polish. And they're like, this shit's garbage. It doesn't work. And it's like, dude, you have a dent in your driver. Like, you got to be realistic about the expectations.
Yeah.
But no, the product went to Amazon. People started buying it. I started putting like some money in ads through Amazon.
Okay.
And again, dude, it just snowballed.
Which by ads, it brings it up to the page when someone's actually looking at something similar to that?
Yeah, but the problem was like I was entering a niche that
unknown
didn't
territory.
exist. I almost created a niche of
uncharted
like
territory.
Golf Club Care.
Sure.
And so I had to put it in like golf club towels. So people would look like golf club towel, and I'd be like, oh, golf club
I've been getting
towels.
those ads, the magnetic towels.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been getting those ads. I don't know what I'm talking about these days, but I keep rolling through my Instagram feeds. I'm like, I don't need this.
Yeah. So yeah, I had to get it in those searches so that it was
Ancillary searches, right? Okay.
Just to get it, made people aware of it.
Maybe covers and shit like that.
Yeah, stuff like
Club
that.
covers. That's so cool. So after that, it took off.
Yeah, the ads really kicked it off.
Ads just on Amazon. You didn't start with any other social media.
Yeah, just on Amazon.
Would you cold call places or like go to certain public or private courses and just kind of like talk it up?
No.
Oh.
It's definitely
Top
somewhere.
Golf. What if you partnered with Top Golf? Oh my goodness.
Top Golf uses my products.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I've had managers at Top Golf message me. They say, once a week we pull all the clubs off the yard and use your products to clean them up.
That is amazing.
I know.
But have you had conversations about wholesaling to them then?
No, because it's not, their customers aren't like going to be interested in my stuff. My products are for more hardcore, serious golfers.
Well, I think there's a good number of people that bring their own clubs there.
True.
Yeah, I wouldn't shut the door.
It's
maybe
conversation.
leave the ball in their court, I guess. But
Yeah.
that's so cool that they use it to. So is that like for certain Top Golfs or is it a national wide? Like, hey, we got to use Club Doctor.
Yeah, it's not like their like
go-to.
Their corporate is like, we only use this product. But I've had people
Man,
from Top
if
Golf.
you can find the person who makes those decisions.
I know, and I'm like, man, I love to hear that. Like, want to toss that intro?
Oh, that's so cool. So what was the timeline with that and with Amazon then?
What do you mean?
Meaning, like, you sold out of your, like, how long did it take for you to sell out of your 1,000 units?
I think that first run took 3-4 months.
That's not long.
No, it wasn't bad.
Oh, wow.
And you got to keep in mind, I was working a full-time internship, and then somewhere in that time period, I also transitioned back to school.
Yeah, so this is like the summer between junior, senior, or?
Yeah.
Okay,
Summer between junior, senior.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you make your money back then? If not more?
I made my money back.
Good.
I didn't really know, at this time I was young in business, didn't really know what I was doing, so I wasn't like properly calculating my margins, fees.
Yeah.
So I think that first year, I kind of just recycled my money.
Broke even.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Most people is at a loss, right?
Yeah.
It's just like the fact that you can break even. More than money, I think in the earlier stages, it's more like proving to yourself that you got something good on your hands.
Yeah.
And you do. So after the 1,000 units, like, what did you do to reconvene and reframe and recenter and like calculate what the next steps could be?
Yeah. So I the first thing I did was order more product because I was confident. And I did a large order this time, so I was able to get like a lower per unit price. Just as with any.
What did you scale to now instead of 1,000?
I think I did 3,000.
Nice.
And then I really focused in on price. I raised my price a little bit.
Okay. What was it originally on Amazon?
It was $19.99.
That's it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But for one bottle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so then I went up. I think I went up to $29.99 on Amazon.
I think. Well, how long does it last?
It'll last you like years.
Years.
Yeah.
Depending on how often you golf.
Yeah.
50? I don't know. Like, I feel like 50 would be fair. But these days you can buy a kit, right? It's not just the bottle, right?
Yeah.
And we'll get there. Okay. So raise it to 30. Nice. How'd that go?
So then I like kind of took a better look at like my margins and like did some more.
Did you work with an accountant?
No, I'm a YouTube student.
YouTube University.
Through YouTube and books. So I looked at like, here's my price, here's my margin, this is how much Amazon's taking. And I really once I knew it was working, I was like, okay, I need to like properly structure the business now and put effort into making content and get Instagram going and stuff like that. So that was kind of the next steps there, is really just getting it profitable almost.
Arriving at the name Club Doctor, were you surprised it wasn't taken?
Yeah, honestly. And there's this dude, I know his name. His name's Craig, and he has this stupid Instagram name, Club Doctor. And I've messaged this guy 100 times. I'm like, can I please have the Instagram name? And he never
That's so funny.
responds.
Oh my god, he doesn't. A guy that doesn't even use it. That's so funny.
Yeah. And so now it's Club Doctor Golf, which isn't bad. But,
No.
But I want that Club Doctor name so bad.
Interesting. Because it's the company name Club Doctor. It's not Club Doctor Golf, right? It's Club Doctor. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, like verifying that the trademark was available.
Yeah.
That was all stuff I did. I got luck. Again, the story of my life is luck. I didn't know how to look up a trademark. I didn't know how to make sure I could use this name.
Yeah.
And it just happened to be when I figured out, I should probably trademark my company name.
And this is after the 1,000 units have sold?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And it was available. And the domain was available. So
amazing. Amazing. So what was that like? These days it's easier than ever to set up a website. Did you have any help or just still one man show?
Just one man show.
Okay.
Shopify,
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a decently tech savvy.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I kind of knew what I was doing there. Set up like a pretty simple website.
Yeah.
And I wasn't planning to like drive a ton of traffic to it yet. Okay. So it wasn't super important for it to be put together. But I wanted to have somewhere that if someone wanted to go to a website, they would at least have something. And it would give some brand validity.
What were some of the reviews after the 1,000 units sold?
It went really well. People loved it.
Did anyone ever try to get in touch with the founder or the CEO or try to want to know and understand more about the person behind the product? Not really.
Not really. The one thing that comes to mind. So I'd gone out of stock on Amazon and my website was available, and it was you could still buy it on my website because
it wasn't linked.
No one was going there anyways. Yeah. So I was like. Wow.
So you started getting orders on the website?
Well, when it went out of stock on Amazon, I got my first website order. And I was like, oh, wow. And so I emailed the guy. I'm like, hey, just curious, how'd you find us? He's like, my buddies at the club told me about this product, and I saw it was sold out on Amazon, so I looked it up on Google. It's like, wow.
They went out of their way. These days, a Google search is going out of your way, right?
I know.
Isn't that insane?
I know.
But you have to make it so easy for someone to find you.
Yeah.
But that's reassuring. It's nice to hear where people are coming from.
Yeah, that was like a big poem. That was a big moment of, okay, I'm building something real here.
Right. So then you're now with the 3,000 units. At this point, are you thinking about going to other places besides Amazon? You're thinking about Instagram and marketing a little bit more. Where are we at?
I was actually focused on expanding to other products.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So once I had the polish, I knew I needed a cleaner for the club. And
to get the initial cleaner, like the dirt and grime, like the primer in a way?
Yeah, and something you can use on the course real quick to clean up the club, because dirt on your club can actually affect the performance pretty significantly.
We should have probably started with that.
Yeah. And so it was kind of the same process, but I developed a good relationship with my manufacturer. So it was cool. I'd basically sent, I remember it was a 1-page PDF of here's what I want it to do.
Wow.
Send me some samples. And
it's like magic.
Yeah, it's crazy. And
is it that in combination with a good brush?
Yeah.
Or is it just a towel?
You could, with mine, you could just use a towel. Okay. With the way that it's incredible. Like it just...
Because the grooves, right? The grooves in the irons.
But it's made to basically...
Maybe dissolve or...
A molecule forms around the dirt and lifts it, which sounds crazy, but that's how my manufacturer describes it to me.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of like soap and water in a way. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So what was you got that back. You probably had to design another label for that. Now are you thinking about packaging if you're trying to combine certain products or?
Not yet.
Oh wow.
And it was hard to put a lot of time into this because it was senior year of engineering school, which gets brutal.
Okay.
It's a lot of work. So I didn't have, I remember.
Did you have wrestle with thoughts of because you're seeing proof of concept, right? You're like, this is going to take off potentially. And you're like, I'm not feeling engineering anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what were your thoughts like that?
So the effort in school definitely came down
dwindled
a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't have a huge grade hit, but
yeah.
It was a thought, but it was more of how I was allocating my time. So I started to wake up a lot earlier, and like the first 3 hours of the morning were like business time. And
now at what time? 5, 4,
5? Yeah.
5?
I was getting up at 5.
For a college student? Good for you, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
Did the parties go away or no?
A little bit.
Okay. Balance, right?
Yeah, but I would just wake up early Saturday morning and get stuff done.
You were adulting real quick.
I was trying.
Because compared to your peers, do you feel like your peers kind of came into themselves or started adulting in their maybe mid-20s or late 20s?
I don't know. I have a tight group of friends, and we're all pretty mature, I think.
Okay.
It's interesting because a lot of people my age now, even, it's like the college phase has not worn off. Like the most exciting thing of the week is going out Friday night. And for us, it's, I don't know, the interest in that has kind of gone away.
Okay.
And so I surrounded myself with really good friends who
that's a lot of luck too.
Yeah, exactly. So
Nice.
I think they weren't like, they didn't have a passion project like I did, but I think we were maturing at the same rate and kind of like, this is kind of getting old.
Sure.
It's not fun to be hungover every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Okay. So to the spray and the polish. What else? What else are we needing?
So then we did the grip cleaner.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that in a spray form?
Yeah. So it's in the spray
interesting.
form. So that was for like rubber grips, or sometimes they're made out of this like corded, almost fabric-y material.
Yeah.
And similar process, just got in touch with the manufacturer, explained what I wanted, and we developed it. And these things usually take 3-4 months just to really like hone it in and make it a solid product.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we had all 3 products: the cleaner, polish, and grip cleaner.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Is that it? We're done? Is this it?
So this was spring 22. This is where we were at.
Okay.
I had an interesting college situation because the way my internships were structured, I had to like do an extra semester. So like my friends all graduated May 22.
Okay.
And I had 6 more months of school.
Oh, wow.
And so summer 2022, I'm supposed to return to the dental chair company to continue working and do my final internship there. I had accepted the offer. I'd committed to moving as the middle of nowhere, Ohio, to work there. And I think it was April or May, I made the decision to call them and said, hey, I want to revoke my acceptance of this job offer. I'm going to do my own thing this summer. And I got an apartment in Dayton I took the summer to grow the business. And that was a big decision. And that decision, I don't know if my parents totally agreed with, because I was throwing away this surefire job offer.
Sure.
This steady income to really go all in on what I was working on. So it was interesting because this was the first time I could go all in, full effort, 8-hour days on my business and really, really start to grow it. And so that summer was really a big step and transformed everything.
So what was the first big kind of task that you tried tackling with your freedom now?
Yeah. So it was just continuing to grow the brand like outside of the products, because in my mind, you can have a product, but you really need to build a brand around it for it to be long lasting and successful. So people were trying my products, but it wasn't like they couldn't follow me anywhere else. They didn't know like when new products would come out or anything. So that's when I really went all in on content creation, growing the Instagram, growing the TikTok, doing YouTube tutorial videos, stuff like that. So that was a big task that summer. And then, yeah, just continuing to like improve my business knowledge and like honestly improve the health of the business. Because to this point, I was just kind of like band-aiding it together. I didn't know how to structure it properly, how to like calculate my profitability. And so it was just a lot of learning and really making it like a solid, kind of essentially breaking down the foundation and rebuilding it so that it was strong, and then I could grow from there.
Okay. What were some of the successful moments of some of the content pieces.
Yeah. So I remember the YouTube videos did really well because people wanted to see the product in action and it working. And I think also with me in the video explaining how it worked, like it built a sense of trust. So stuff like that really started to work well. And then as far as like the TikTok and Instagram pieces, it was just testing and trying different content styles. So a big thing I do is like ASMR golf club cleaning.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
So
I like that.
I'll wear this camera strap that holds my phone right here, grab a club and like turn up the volume really high so that we can hear like the brushes cleaning the club and whatnot.
Yeah.
So that was just like,
well, when you have I'll show you a microphone. You can up your production. That works, and you can up your production eventually.
Yeah.
Oh. And then after making videos, would you run more ads in different places, like Facebook ads and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I started with some like before and after Facebook ads.
Okay.
So it would just show an old club and a new club.
Yeah.
And at this time, I just couldn't reach profitability with it. I was spending a lot of money on these ads, but it wasn't like becoming worth the money. You know what I mean? Like it was just like the Facebook ads would just recycle money.
Well, it's A/B testing, right? It's just like which ads do actually do work.
Yeah. And so it was just a lot of trial and error. And like, again, I was doing it myself, so I didn't really know what to do and it wasn't working.
Did you have any people that were social media savvy that were giving you tips and tricks?
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, this year is where the biggest lesson I've learned this year is to continue to grow your business, you need to plug professionals in where you lack knowledge. So that's one thing I've done. So like 3-4 months ago, I hired an ads guy and he's been crushing it and has changed the business like crazy.
Yeah. To the point where you're sold out?
Not yet. Actually, yeah. I'm
right?
sold out of the kits right now.
Yeah. What were some of the tips about, let's say, an Instagram reel or a TikTok that changed it for you? Like, how does one construct a TikTok video?
So it's trying to keep it entertaining rather than like salesy. So you need to entertain the viewer and instead of being like, oh, this is my product, you should buy it, be like, don't even sell it. Just like show how it works. Just be like, oh, today I'm going to clean this club. I'm going to polish it up and this is how it looks after. And then just educating the people about like how this improves the performance of your club, how this improves the confidence in your clubs and stuff like that.
Did you ever consider like influencer marketing?
Yeah, I've done a few different influencers. And again, it's just been hard. It hasn't converted super well.
Because the golf community is pretty tight.
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, it's so cool to see Tiger come back, and we can talk about like what makes a good redemption story and why people are okay with or accepting of forgiving Tiger. I don't know. Or just like seeing him do well is great for the entire industry. Him having his kids caddy and things like that. Like it's so cool to see. And I feel like people in any other industry are like Kobe, you know, people forgive Kobe as well for, you know, all the things he's done, or the infidelity. But I'm interested. It's just like, why those people? Why do they get a pass, you know?
Yeah. I think it's because those people are...
You want them to do well?
Yeah, and they're like heroes for a lot of people.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Why? Because I've had people in my life who have been cheaters and whatnot and have done terrible things to people I love, and I still have a bad taste in my mouth about these people.
Sure.
But you see Tiger on the course and I'm cheering for him.
Sure.
That is an interesting point, is why do these public figures and...
Yeah, just a side tangent, I guess. But I guess like what with influencer marketing, like how does one even tap into and there's levels. There's like micro influencers to, the mega influencers.
Mm-hmm.
And some would say, depending on your demographic, like a micro influencer might have more of an impact than a mega influencer, and there's levels to it. How would you cold email or cold DM someone if you were to do something like that?
Yeah. So when I tried it at first, I found these guys on TikTok that were doing this like interesting style video where they would go up to a random golfer at the range and be like, "Hey man, like what type of club are you playing?" And they would show the club and then hit shots and just like interview him, like, "Oh, what's your favorite course?" And I was like, wow, this, like, my product would fit great into this. They just show the club and it'd be like, "Oh, while we interview you, we're gonna clean it with this product, Club Doctor." And I was like, this is gonna crush. And I sent them product, and I just DM'd them. I was like, "Hey, I really think this type of video would work great with my product. Do you guys want to work together?" And they were down. And we like worked out a rate. And it didn't work. It performed super poorly, and like it ended up being a loss of money, but it was an experiment, and I'm glad I tried it just because I learned that, like,
which is like another conversation is like, how many iterations do you try before you give up?
Yeah.
On a campaign, right?
Yeah. So that didn't work great. We did 3 videos with them, and it didn't work well.
I think that's good in the sense of like trying multiple iterations with the same creator.
Yeah. And I mean, their videos got hundreds of thousands of views,
but it doesn't translate into like a click-through rate or an action.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was hard to determine like where the disconnect was. Was it because they didn't give a strong enough call to action, or did they not show like the product enough? I don't know.
Not easily found.
Yeah. So I abandoned that idea. And now when I'm going to influencers, it's like more about people who I just enjoy watching myself.
Yeah.
So like I'll find these small golf guys on Instagram who just make entertaining content. They're not professional golfers by any means, but when I'm scrolling reels and see their content, I'll sit there and watch, and I'll just DM them, say like, "Hey, can I send you a box of product?"
You don't want it to feel salesy, right?
Yeah. I'm just, "Hey, can I send you a box of product?" And like sometimes they'll say yes, and I send it, and they don't do anything with it. And then sometimes people love it and will just keep posting videos, and they don't ask for anything in return. So that's kind of been my strategy lately, is just finding people that I like enjoy watching and resonate with, and reach out to them.
Well, it's trusting in your product, having faith in your product, right?
Yeah.
In the quality of your product and letting it speak for itself.
100%.
So after this, are you still on the 3,000 batch, or are you?
I'd turned it over.
You already turned it a few times.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what was the next? I feel like we're in chapter 3 now. Like, what was the next phase for you then?
Let's call this like the Chicago chapter.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
Yeah. So January
2023.
2023.
Wow.
So we're coming up on a year.
Yeah.
Living in Chicago.
Okay.
Challenging time. So the month prior, my manufacturer was having trouble keeping up with me.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I was constantly going out of stock, and it was incredibly frustrating. And so I was like, I got pretty greedy. I was like, I can't be out of stock this much. I'm losing money. Like, my product's blowing up. I need it now. And so I made a quick, rational decision to switch manufacturers. And I switched to these people that were like much more corporate, big company. Sent them my stuff, and then they sent some samples back, like trying to basically replicate the product. And gosh, I remember testing it in my apartment, and it didn't work as well. I knew it didn't work as well at the moment, but the greed took over, and I said, you know what? Yeah, because they could make 10,000 bottles in a week. Like, they were ready to roll.
Yeah. And
sure enough, the bottles shipped. They got to the consumer, and just brutal.
They're like, this used to be good.
Yeah, they're like, this is not the same product. New customers were like, this doesn't work. Like, tons of bad reviews, tons of bad feedback. So I had to make a really hard decision to throw all that product out. It was over $50,000 worth of product that I just got rid of.
Wow.
It was a really, really hard time. So January, I moved to Chicago.
Oh my goodness.
A much more expensive city from where I was coming from. My rent nearly doubled, and I'm out of stock. I don't have a manufacturer lined up yet, and I'm bleeding money basically. So January, I'm like scrambling to find a new manufacturer, find a new product, and get the wheels back on the car again. So it was a really tough time because I was just financial stress, living in a new city. I don't have a lot of friends. It was just a really, really hard time. But eventually I connected with a guy who said he wanted to work with me, sent me products, and we went through the whole process again of like improving the product. And it was like better than like
the first
even
time
before. Yeah. So we had made it even better, and I was really excited. And then I did a rebrand with it and everything.
Wow!
And basically,
in what sense? What do you mean rebrand?
Just like a new label and just different bottle style to be
facelift.
Like
Nice.
Yeah, and then just kind of like to send the message to the customers like, hey, we messed up. Can you give us a second chance? And so I like essentially relaunched and did a bunch of marketing stuff, and I sent emails to all those customers who had the
Nice. Good for you.
the bad product. And I was like, hey, I'm really sorry about what happened. Like, we made a mistake. Like, I want to send this to you like at our cost. So I offered it to them for how much I paid. So essentially I wasn't like making any money on it. They could just get it for a very cheap price.
It's worth more than that.
Yeah. To try to like redeem myself.
Yeah. And what was the reception on that?
It was slow.
Okay.
It was weird because in my mind I was like, once I fix this, we're back
on
off.
track.
Yeah, we're back off to the races. So February we like really got going. We re-released, and it was slow. And in February was really hard too.
And at this point, you're still on Amazon. Just on Amazon, or are you using your website more these days?
A little bit more at this point.
So that means you need warehouse space.
Yeah.
Is that your apartment or is that
no? So well. The website was so little at the time that I was able to like route the orders through Amazon. So like website orders would still get shipped by Amazon.
Oh.
Yeah. That was
interesting.
It's very expensive.
Okay.
So basically my website orders were like break even, but it was just to like
traffic
and like, oh, I have customer data. Like the website's starting to work.
But Amazon gives you analytics, doesn't it?
No
analytics.
You don't get emails.
Goodness.
You don't get customer names. You don't get anything, which is brutal. So I was like 95% Amazon, 5% website at the time.
Okay.
But March.
So yeah, storage. You said. Right?
Yeah. Well, so yeah, in March we were still doing just everything shipped from Amazon.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, they could order through the website, but it's still fulfilled by Amazon.
Yeah. So then March, I start getting more intertwined in the Chicago entrepreneurial community.
How?
Just honestly, I have a friend. His name's Tavo, short for Gustavo, and he is from the area. He's an entrepreneur as well. Really, really outgoing, charismatic person, and just connects people like crazy. And I became friends with him, and he was just plugging me into everything. And I'm like forever grateful for him. One of my best friends today. And he got me into like different events and really got me out there in Chicago. He's like, hey, you should come to this. We have this co-working day. There's not a ton of cool people. You need to meet this guy. So through that, I started meeting a lot of people in Chicago and like just learning so much. And what really became transformational was in March is when I really started to like go all in on the short form content, posting 3 times a day on TikTok, 3 times a day on Instagram. And from March to April, we went from like 10K revenue to like 50K revenue to June, like doing hundreds of thousands of dollars in a month. And it just like completely turned the business around. People were loving the product again and really just went from a dark place and worked hard. And again, I don't like to not say that I'm not lucky, but a lot of luck there, and got it to where it needed to be again.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What was your experience like at those co-working events?
I'm a pretty introverted person.
Yeah.
So
same.
It was hard to open up and become friends with these people. And it's intimidating because there's a lot of cool stuff happening in Chicago. There's a lot of cool stuff being built and a lot of people who are 10 steps ahead of you. And your thought when you meet them is like, oh, they don't care what I'm doing. Like, it's just like, you just self-deprecating, like, oh, yeah. they're not going to care.
Small fish in a big pond.
Yeah. So it was intimidating at first, but over time you start to see similar faces and make friends. And I definitely had to like choose which of these events I would want to go to. So like I kind of eliminated some of the tech stuff because it wasn't relevant to me, and like people in tech don't really care to hear about what I have to talk about. But yeah, I think it really helped me grow as a person as far as like putting myself out there and being more comfortable and confident in talking about what I do and talk about it in like a proud way.
Yeah, right. At this point, did you feel like it was part of your identity? Like, were you like, when people ask, what do you do? Is that kind of the first thing you think about?
Yeah, 100%. Right? Yeah. Okay. And it was like, people call me the golf guy now, which is funny. Yeah, it was. But like the hard part was, is because of that big mistake and because it was struggling so much, I wasn't proud of it. I wasn't happy to talk about it.
Okay.
And I didn't like, I'm sure my like body language and tone of voice reflected it at the time. Because I was really, it was embarrassing and what it had come to and like the mistakes I'd made. And so that was tough.
Yeah. I mean, luck again with like finding your third manufacturer. And I think you have such a solid head on your shoulders as far as like treating people as they are, like genuinely treating people and looking more towards the relationship rather than what you can get out of each other, and potentially creating win-win situations.
Yeah.
So scaling to $100,000 per month. What do you do with this kind of money? You know, it's like most people don't come in, contact with this kind of money. So was it overwhelming? Did you start, and I have a feeling you're going to say no, but elevating your lifestyle, or you just put it all back into the company?
Yeah. So I won't lie. During that time, I got a little more comfortable. I felt like I could breathe again. But I was also conscious of like, you never know what's going to happen on this journey, and I'm sure I'll make more mistakes in the future.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't go crazy right now. Right, so I left a lot of it in the business. I rewarded myself a little bit. I went to dinner a few times more maybe and that, but I didn't. I'm huge on like not elevating your lifestyle too quickly because it's hard.
It's hard for an early 20-year-old.
I know, because you want to rent a boat every weekend or whatnot, but I'm big on like just do that slowly, like
long-term gains.
Yeah, and become like, I don't want to have a car that like I stress about every time I park it on the street. Like, I'd rather drive my shitty Honda and like, I don't care if someone scratches it. Like, I don't know. I've really worked on like not valuing stuff like that, like materialistic things.
So what did you value? Like, what part of the business did you want to grow at that point? Or what doors unlocked because of how much revenue you were making now?
I think it was like more opportunities to continue to grow it because I could. So for example, like one thing I'm working heavily on now is getting it into stores, Dick's Sporting Goods, Golf Galaxy, PGA Superstore. And they're not going to want a company that's not doing great online. They're not even going to give you a chance. So it's kind of those types of doors.
Building credibility in addition to the revenue.
Yeah. I think it's more, like a credibility thing. And then what's cool is you can take that money and invest it into things that you couldn't before. So like I said, plugging in professionals where you lack. So like, hiring a guy to do my emails that are 10 times better than the emails I was doing before. A guy to do my ads he's crushing it now. And it's like, I think it's so important early stage to just reinvest and not get excited about the money and pull it out.
So what are some other, well, no, that is what it is. Like, investing in email and ads, content, building credibility that way. when you make contact with some of these stores, what are some of the things they ask of you to show credibility?
So to be completely honest, I hire a consultant who goes and talks to these people for me.
Who would have thought? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Where can you find such a consultant?
So he reached out to me.
Oh.
I've known this guy for 3 years because he specializes in the golf industry. So he'll take unique products. He has relationships with all these buyers.
There's value in that.
Yeah. And so then you pay him to go pitch your products.
Oh.
So I can't give too much insight into that, but just to give some.
You've never gone on a trip with him?
No.
Interesting.
He keeps it pretty.
Oh, he says no.
Yeah, like I'm not sure he would let me if I did.
That's so interesting. Okay.
But just to give some insight to like things he asked me for.
Yeah.
So for like my kit, it's very like direct to consumer e-commerce right now.
Okay.
Whereas he was like, hey, the buyers might want to see this more like retail ready. So I need you to make a mock-up of like what this would look like on a shelf.
Like Shark Tank if you were to pitch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I literally went to Golf Galaxy, took a photo of a shelf, and then spent the next couple hours at home like photoshopping my products onto the shelf to
nice.
give the buyer a visualization of what it would look like on their shelf.
Nice. I'm sure that was a learning curve as in itself.
Yeah.
Photoshop.
Yeah.
So then working with him, did you feel like that took your company to the next level then?
It's still early. It's only been a month.
Okay.
And kind of we're getting into the thick of it now because from what I understand, the buyers meetings all happen now, January, to set us up for March golf season starting. So it's an exciting time.
Wow.
From the feedback I got is the first meeting with Dick's Sporting Goods went well. So fingers crossed.
Is there a point where you'll be involved?
Yeah. So once like they say yes, I will start to get orders from them that I'm responsible to send the product to them.
And then would you have to hire someone else, like an attorney, to see if this is actually of value to you?
What do you mean by that?
Well, is it worth if you're getting a fair deal? For a lot of creatives, like content creators, it's hard to assess like what you're worth.
Okay.
But I guess I know you have proof of concept now, but so I guess it's not different. I guess the question is more towards the initial proof of concept. I guess it's like the $20 bottle now scaling. So I guess it's like if you needed any help or insight into, not getting screwed over by a chain like Dick's.
Yeah. I think that's also where this person helping me kind of takes a look and like he knows these people and like knows how this business works. So I'd like to think he would give me help there. But as far, it's pretty transparent.
Good.
So like I tell them, here's what I will sell it to you for, and here's what I want you to sell it for. So it's usually like,
so you have some say as far what you advise them to sell it for.
Yeah. It's like, if you ever see like MSRP, manufacturer's suggested retail price, you can give them that. It doesn't mean they can't discount it.
Sure.
But
do they tell you a margin that they want to make?
Yeah. So most retailers, from my understanding, want to buy your product for half the price they sell it for.
Okay.
So if you're selling a $50 product, they want to buy it for $25.
So they'll still make a profit even if they discount it.
They're making more money than most. Like retailers are making more money than most the actual product people.
Wow. So what made you decide with like this is the next step versus continuing to be on your own?
I think it's just a part of the process with products specifically.
So like less margins, but your reach is
less margins.
Greater.
Yeah, reach. And
there's credibility being on a store shelf, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And like, I know that if I can put an Instagram post saying now available at Golf Galaxy, people are gonna be like, oh, damn, okay, like this is legit.
We've been sleeping on this.
Yeah. And then you're reaching different customers. Like, there's got to be hundreds of thousands of golfers out there who are 60, 70 and don't have Facebook or Instagram, and I can't reach them through marketing. But when they walk in the store, they'll see it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're on the right track. Are we present day now? Are we caught up?
Yeah.
That's where we're at?
That's where we're at as of right now. Yeah. Just got.
What an exciting January for you.
I know. It's been a crazy Christmas season, crazy Black Friday. So really, really excited for next year to get after it.
What do you think the next iteration of Club Doctor is going to be after it's on the shelves? Because it's just a matter of time now, right?
I hope so. So what's going to happen is it's going to get on the shelves, and we're going to have to see whether it works on the shelves. It's easy to sell a product to someone who's looking for it, but can someone just walk by and see it and be interested enough to pull it off?
I wonder if
the
these
shelf?
stores are open to like demos. Like if you hire people to like go demo it at the stores.
Oh,
right?
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah,
I haven't thought about that.
Kind of like tastings, right? If you go to a bottle shop and there's beer tastings, wine tastings, sake tastings,
Yeah.
like if you couldn't do it yourself, you just set aside a budget for people that could be the face of the company and demo it properly, or even have the consumer demo it. Hey, dirty clubs, like try this out.
Yeah, or do something like that at Topgolf. That would be cool.
Man, yeah, you're right. Anywhere. I mean, if who was your contact at Topgolf? Because like, why can't they get you the intro to corporate?
I mean, it's like I'm working over like TikTok DMs. So it's like it's hard. I don't know how much like serious business is going on that way, but
yeah.
I definitely just need to like be persistent and follow up.
It's interesting. I mean, I think at this point you wouldn't be surprised if something as impactful as a corporate deal with Topgolf would happen over TikTok, right?
Yeah.
It's just like you never know, I guess.
Yeah, 100%.
Leaving no stone unturned.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to share that we haven't shared, or things that you want to put out into the world? And there's something about speaking your mind and manifesting that like now like whoever's listening might hold you accountable, right?
Yeah. One thing I've been doing recently, I just want to give insight to like what people can do personally to kind of visualize their life. And then it's funny you mentioned the word manifestation, because it's been something I've been doing consistently for the past 2 months. At my gym, I'll work out and I'll sit in the sauna and close my eyes and visualize my life. And I think it's helped me tremendously, because it's hard to know what to do next when you don't know where you're going. So many people go throughout life without a vision of what their future looks like. They don't know where they're going to be in 10 years. They don't even have a picture of it. And, the things I think about, they may never come true. They may not be right. They may not be the path for me. But being able to sit there and think about it and truly see what my life looks like and the things I want to accomplish and the people I want to impact really gives me so much motivation and drive and fulfillment and desire to achieve those goals.
So describe, if you're willing to, some of these manifestations and some of these visions. So like, how many years down the line, what location, what are you eating, where are you living, like all that stuff. Like, what are you thinking about?
It's different every time, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes it's me when I'm 40, like what's my house going to look like? What's the car I'm going to drive? What's my family going to look like? But other times it's how am I going to impact people? Like, why am I doing this? Like, I think everyone in life, their desire is to impact people and help others. Yeah. And how do I take this thing that I built and this business knowledge and just general life knowledge that I've accrued and apply it to others and help others and make an impact? So it varies day to day, but I think it's important to think about all aspects of your life.
So in terms of philanthropy and helping others, are you talking about like golf seminars, or like in what way do you want to make an impact, through philanthropy? Yeah.
So I heard you mention Gary Vee earlier. Are you a fan of him?
I haven't consumed his content recently, because you reach a point where you just have to start doing rather than keep listening, right? But yeah, I would say so. Yeah. That I would say 5 years ago was my Gary Vee phase.
I agree.
Yeah.
Same here.
Okay.
But when I was in that period, being stuck in engineering and really unsatisfied, it was him who really gave me the motivation and the drive that this doesn't have to be how my life ends up. I can change my life in any moment. And one decision can change your life forever. And he just gave me, I actually met him this past May, which was cool. But at the time I didn't even know him. And like, he gave me so much hope and drive and motivation. And I was headed on this path that was going to lead to a life of, I'm sure it would have been a really good life still, but especially career-wise, and it wouldn't be fulfilling. And he gave me the motivation that didn't have to be the path. You can change whenever you want. And so that impact on me is like something I want to do for others when I'm older. And I want to be able to go into high schools and colleges, or even talk to just different entrepreneurs and motivate them and just really send the message that this life path you're on, if you're not happy with it, like, it's never too late to change. It's never too late to alter the trajectory of your life and make it something you love and make it something that fulfills you.
Yeah, that's admirable. And I think those lessons, and being a keynote speaker, comes from having a wealth of wisdom, which only comes from doing the work and achieving some level of mastery.
Yeah.
So you're not wrong in saying most people want to help people, but through what wisdom, right?
Yeah.
And you're well on your way there. You do have you have been sharing a lot of wisdom. But I guess, like, part of me personally, it's just like, if I feel like let's teaching this EMT class, I'm no longer on an ambulance. Like, I still have my license, but there was a point when this podcast started, of that imposter syndrome, right? So, like, you can be a keynote speaker all you want, but where are you drawing from, right? What experiences are you drawing from? So, like, I can be an EMT teacher all I want, but if I'm not on an ambulance, like, where am I drawing my experiences from? They're probably outdated. So these days, I'm actually not doing a lot of the teaching, and I deploy a lot of my instructors to do the teaching for me, and I just make sure everything runs smoothly. Yeah,
but you're still making such an incredible impact that way. You're almost scaling the impact you're making.
Trying to,
which is very cool and admirable.
Yeah, and you'll get to a point. Yesterday, she's a neurosurgeon, and one of 219 female neurosurgeons in the country.
Like 219
only, right? It's a very male-dominated field, and she got a lot of shit for not let alone being female, but wanting to be a mother. So being pregnant during her residency training, and she recently authored a book, released in May, and a lot of doors opened, a lot of opportunities opened, and you come to a point where you have to start actually saying no to opportunities, because you can't be everywhere at the same time. So, and we would go to high schools for the EMT class here and there, but you start to realize you might have more of an impact, whether that's like on social media or actually a large in-person event, rather than a 15 to 20 student kind of classroom here and there. You're stretched thin at that point. And I think when you start to build a family, now you're being pulled in multiple directions, and you're going to prioritize your personal life over your work life, right? So all this hustling that you're doing now, it will pay off, and hopefully you'll be in a position to where you don't have to physically be at a certain location, because it kind of runs itself.
100%.
Right. You're well on your way there. You're doing amazing things.
I hope so.
As far as manifesting, are there any other groups or entities or people that you would like to partner with?
I don't know about specifically partner with. One thing I'm working on right now with Gustavo, who I mentioned earlier. Chicago's a great city, and I don't think we recognize the impact that the city can have, specifically in the business world. You hear everything about New York, LA, San Francisco, but it doesn't feel like anything comes out of Chicago anymore, specifically in the CPG, consumer product good space. So food, drink, stuff like products. And so we were going to a lot of these different networking events, very tech heavy, and we were like, we need something for our people, for the product people. And so we're starting to build this community of CPG founders in Chicago. And so just bringing people together that have products that are making cool things, that are making a cool drink or selling this.
We know a couple, yeah. I mean, Sammy being one of them, yeah.
And so just building community has been something I've been trying to do recently that's been super fulfilling, and just, you know, not looking for like, oh, how can I make money off this? More just like
community,
the fulfillment of like
bringing people together,
like seeing two people become friends at an event I'm hosting. That is like the most fulfilling thing. And
so is this a separate entity, or are you just saying like, you know, Tavo and, you know, Club Doctor is hosting an event, or is this a separate kind of company?
We're kind of branding it as this thing called the Printing Press.
Oh, nice.
Just because that was a joke we would say, as like an inside joke.
Sure.
Like, we would talk to someone, we're like, oh, that guy's printing. But you know, it's not. We don't want to make it like this corporate like thing and like overblown. We want it to be a tight knit community of Chicago people doing cool things.
Well, only for the sake of separation, right? That's all. I love it. If we can help in any way, or we, you know, be involved, like I think that's, if you look behind you like that, we did a happy hour with previous podcast guests.
Oh, that's super cool.
So like what you did, like that resonates with me, and like you said, to see people that kind of have seen each other from afar through social media, but had the opportunity to meet each other in person. Now take that, and then give them an opportunity to showcase what they do, and then invite strangers and the Chicago community to come, you know, and in the right setting, Chicago, you know, will root for, they go hard for other Chicagoans, right? And so create a space for that. I think it's going to be a hit. I
know. And I'm sure there's people in that photo who you're not even aware of, but they still keep in touch and are friends.
Right,
and like that's just such a beautiful thing.
Well, it's bittersweet. You're like, you're hanging out without me, but you're happy for them.
I know. That's so cool.
Is there anything else you want to share? I think we covered a wide range of topics, but it was such a pleasure to meet you, Adam. If you didn't bring your kit today, we have to find a way before Christmas, if possible.
I got one for you.
Oh, you do? Backpack. My in-law, my father-in-law is an avid golfer, so I was hoping for that. Where can people find you? I'm guessing you want to be found.
Yeah. So personal Instagram is at Adam L. Riedel.
Okay.
And then Club Dr. Golf everywhere else. ClubDrGolf.com.
The website, are you on LinkedIn as well?
Yeah.
So TikTok, Instagram.
Yeah, those are the
main
TikTok,
ones, right?
Instagram, main ones, YouTube.
I'm trying to be better about that myself, as far as like, I feel like I sell myself short. I'm trying to spread more on like LinkedIn these days. It is kind of a career related podcast. So just, you know, you come to a point where like you said, even if you have a good product, if people don't find you, you know, well, you're not going to get sold.
Yeah, I think LinkedIn's huge and like the organic reach.
Trying. But everyone, thanks for tuning in. Find Adam, connect, and till next time, stay curious.